Hello and welcome back to my channel. If not back, then just welcome. Today is Wednesday, December 6th, 2017, and it is day number 6 of Vlogmas. Today is going to be more of a chit chat video, and the star of today's show is going to be the Stunna lip paint and Uncensored by Fenty Beauty. Red is having a big moment right now in beauty and in fashion. Red monochrome looks are where it's at right now. And I personally live for a red lip. I have 2 previous videos on my channel dedicated just to red lipstick. Red lipstick is something that never fails to make me feel powerful and just basically like I could go on and take on the world. So that got me thinking about how I use makeup as a tool in my everyday life and how I used to use makeup as a crutch. It's basically just an excuse for me to rant and rave about red lipstick once again, since I have a new red lipstick. That's enough of a preamble. Let's go ahead and get into this makeup. So the look that I'm going to be doing today is very much an everyday look for me. It's going to be quick and easy and something that I have kind of perfected. I'm going to add a little bit of a glamour twist on it since I want most of these looks to be kind of like party ready. I guess I want to start out by clarifying what I mean about using makeup as a tool versus using makeup as a crutch. So previously, I looked at makeup as a way to change the way that I looked, to sort of hide things about myself that were either age or racial distinguishing features. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use just my everyday bronzer as an eyeshadow. I'm not going to use a primer or concealer on my eyes because I want the natural shadow of my eye to sort of play off of the tone of the bronzer. Now, as you can tell by looking at me, I'm a Black woman, specifically African American. So that means that the bulk of my DNA, the bulk of my ancestry are people who were brought over to North America as slaves. With that being said, there's some other stuff up in there, but not anything so significant that it affects how I view myself racially or culturally. Even though, like most Black Americans, I can trace back to a person who wasn't an African. I don't know of them personally, so I just count myself as Black. How this relates to makeup, you're like, what are you talking about? How this relates to makeup. When I first started wearing makeup, the one thing that I wanted to learn how to do more than anything else was contour my nose, because it's a very Black nose. It's a very West African nose. It's very much subscribed to Eurocentric beauty standards. Very much used to be embarrassed by my African ancestry and African looks. So I wanted to change that. I wanted to hide that. Wanted a nose job so bad, even though they hardly ever look decent on Black folk. And then I heard about the magic of contouring, and I thought that was my ticket out of Ghana Nose Town. I'm using the bronzer to create a natural looking shadow around the eye. So I'm just sweeping all over the lid, kind of taking it out like a wing, like I always do with all of my eyeshadow, and then just connecting that directly underneath. But since I was afraid of having a botched nose job, all I wanted to do was learn how to contour my nose so that it appears slimmer and not as round. And it's not that I want it to look white. I definitely just want it to look racially ambiguous. And so I would spend hours and hours and hours trying to perfect some sort of magical slimming power with my nose through the power of makeup, and I just never got it down. At first, it really bothered me. Then, through a series of events that can just be best paraphrased as growing and evolving as a person, unlearning a lot of the things that I had consumed over the years as far as what the idea of beauty should be. Now I'm just taking a deeper shade of bronzer. It was just years of growth, years of confronting why I felt the way that I felt. I feel like that's an important thing to say too, is that it's a process. It was a process for me to learn to accept and then love my physical features. I also want to throw in that I was so concerned with my looks, not because I was vain, but because I was bullied because of my looks. And so I had a lot of complexes given to me by my peers growing up. And a lot of the bullying was directed towards my Black looks. So internalizing that, accompanied with, you know, the media giving you this version of beauty that you don't fit into. So learning that all of that stuff that was put onto me didn't matter because I had so much more to offer, opened up my eyes to become appreciative of my physical features. And I no longer have to rely on hoping to use makeup to make my nose look slimmer, make my eyes look more round, make my lips look full in an acceptable pouty way, make my skin look more fair. I was then able to have fun with makeup. I figured out what I like and what makeup look makes me feel the most powerful, the most glamorous, the most like me, but like Super Saiyan me. And for me, it is red lipstick and all shades of red lipstick. So my quintessential red lipstick look is super basic skin, super basic eyes, bam, focus on the lip. Now that I have my super simple eyes done, I'm going to go into my super simple skin. Since this is a holiday look, I'm going to go in with a glowing base just because I want to look luminous and radiant. Satin skin is where I'm at right now. Not quite matte, not quite dewy. I like that like healthy glow coming from within. Another random thing that really made me appreciate my features was taking that ancestry DNA test. I know that there's like all this controversy about, you know, how accurate are they? Is it a scheme to get your DNA and do some like Henrietta Lacks type, which all of that is probably valid and true. But for me, I got my results back and it came back 80% African, which that was kind of like, dang, of course this is how I look. This is who I am. I feel rich in ancestral stock. And I know that that might sound like weird, but kind of like a hippy dippy weirdo. So that sort of thing means a lot to me. You know, even though I don't have the luxury of being able to go back and trace who these people were and know their story and know their personality, knowing that so much of them is in me, I can't talk about it too much because I'll start crying. It means a lot. It means a whole heck of a lot to me. So now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to mix a medium coverage foundation with a tinted moisturizer because I'm having pretty good skin times right now. And I don't want to cover it up too much. I just kind of want to even out my base a little bit. Just going to take a little bit of my new favorite foundation with my all-time favorite tinted moisturizer. I also am going to take this up pretty close underneath my eye because I'm not going to be putting on any concealer. Now, all of that I talked about my growth and unlearning, that none of that was overnight. That was a process. So during the process, I never stopped wearing makeup. How I approached makeup just changed. So at first, I started by just accepting my face shape the way that it is and trying to figure out, okay, how can I use makeup in a way that I feel like enhances what I have? So I focused on a feature of mine that I loved, which are my lips. Even though they're kind of annoying because they are not symmetrical, it wasn't that big of a deal because no human being on earth is symmetrical. So I started just wearing like powder, foundation, and lipstick, which is such a move that my mom did growing up. It felt like kind of returning to my roots. So that's the look that I started over with, was just wearing lipstick and making sure like my base was pretty even, making sure my skin was pretty good. It's also when I started getting into skincare more, because if I wasn't going to be wearing foundation, highlight, contour, I wanted to make sure that my skin was looking pretty nice. So that's when I started getting into skincare, which the skincare world is a slippery slope all into itself. I can get into that another day. I started getting compliments on my lip choices, which it's not like I had never received a compliment before in my life, but they always came from like the older generation. And it's not that, you know, I didn't believe compliments from older people and loved ones. It's just that when they come from older people and loved ones, to me, this is going to sound very ungrateful, but it is what it is. It's like, yeah, thank you, person who loves me and is biased about my appearance because you know my personality. Like, thank you for saying something nice about my physical attribute, but I don't wholly accept it as a compliment about my physical attributes because you know me and therefore my shining personality shapes how you look at me. It just is how it is with everyone. But strangers from compliments from strangers, specifically in a platonic sort of way or in a just like, oh hey, I like your lipstick sort of way, I started boosting my self-esteem and felt so opposite to what I was used to. And all throughout my school career, like my whole school career, I was teased about my looks literally from kindergarten to 12th grade. And that's a long time to be told that you look like a man, that you are ugly. I got focused on my mascara and lost my train of thought. Oh, basically just those compliments felt good. It felt good receiving compliments without masking the parts of myself that I had internalized as being just so hideous and ugly and wrong. It was very much a fake it till you make it sort of feeling. Fast forward to how I feel about makeup now. This has been a long journey. Thank you for sticking with me and getting to this point. But before I go into that, I'm going to take some of my Pat McGrath Metamorphosis gold pigment and just put that in the inner corners of my eyes as the holiday twist to this look. And I'm just going to use it dry. I'm not going in with any sort of mixing medium or anything like that. I'm human. So there's always going to be like, I'm unsatisfied with this specific part of my face on today, but it's generally something that I have done from a lack of taking care of myself. Like, oh, my eye bags and my under eyes are so dry and so dark, but that's just because I'm not getting enough sleep or drinking enough water, or it's that time of the month and so I just randomly have a gigantic monstrous breakout on my chin or neck or something like that. But as far as just like waking up and being like, wow, you are an ugly human being that does not deserve to live on this planet, I don't have those days anymore. Now for the star of the show, for the star of the, now for the star of the show, for the star of the, It smells weird. It smells very weird. It's very thin. It very much feels like and even smells like the Color Pop Ultra Matte Lip, which I'm concerned about because that's one of my least favorite liquid lipstick formulations. So now my relationship with my powdered face and red lips, it's no longer about trying to receive compliments from people, distract people to make them look at my mouth so that they aren't, ooh, this color. Ooh, this color. What? Or to make them focus on my mouth so that they don't look at my nose or don't look at my eyes. I just feel like a pure, unmitigated badass when I wear red lipstick. And that carries over to how I carry myself and present myself to other people. It's not that I feel weak and defeated and powerless when I'm not wearing red lipstick. It's just that if I'm not wearing red lipstick, like you could be like, oh, hey, here's something. And then I'd be like, okay. But if I am wearing red lipstick, here's a list of things that you can tell me. Nothing. And people respond to that. People respond to that sort of air that I'm giving off. So if I know that I'm going to be in a situation where I am going to have to command control, I'm putting on red lipstick. And I have other looks that have that sort of transformative power for me. If I want to channel a part of myself that's a bit more, like if I want to feel more glamorous, more va-va-voom, more sensual, if you will, I will have a smoky eye. If I want to seem like I am more approachable or more warm and friendly, which I am. I'm a warm and friendly person, but I have RBF, and a lot of people think that I'm mean. A lot of people think that I'm bougie, and I'm not. But that's something that I have gotten a lot. It's like, when I first met you, I thought you were going to be mean or bougie or stuck up or conceited or whatever, which, I mean, I am a little bougie. Not gonna lie, just a skosh bouge. Wow. So if I want to seem more friendly, more approachable, I'll do a more like soft kind of romantic look, you know? So I have cultivated all of these different styles of makeup to not change myself, but to just sort of enhance certain facets of myself, and it having the sort of like chicken egg situation where I'm feeling a certain mood, and so I dress my face to reflect that mood, and then since my face looks that way, it enhances the feeling that I had before, and therefore impacts how people interact with me. And it's just like, has been this really interesting sort of dance that I have discovered fairly recently, like within the past 2 years. And I just think that I think that's pretty cool. I need to put something on my cheeks, but just a little bit of something, something. Okay, I think the thing that I'm going to do to my cheeks is just add a little bit of bronzer. I'm also going to take a little bit of the Senegal eyeshadow from my Juvia's Place Saharan palette and use that as a highlighter, just because it's holiday and sparkly, so I want to be a little bit more sparkly than normal, but I want to keep it bronzy. And I don't really have like a bronzy highlight. Actually, now that I'm putting this on, you know what I could have used? I could have just used my Fenty Beauty matchstick, because this looks very much the way that rum looks. So I hope that everything that I said made sense. It made sense in my head. I always have these like outlines, and then I start talking and it's just kind of rambly and I always feel like my message gets a little lost in the sauce, but I hope it came through about what it means to me using makeup as a tool to navigate through this world versus just using it as a crutch to hide from the world. Also, this baby here, it may feel like a ultra matte lip going on, but once it's on, it's a little bit softer, a little bit more comfortable. Although I am noticing, and a little bit more transferable to the teeth, so keep that in mind. But this is it. This is the finished look. This is my take on the classic red lip holiday glam. Got your red lip going on, got your red dress going on, got your red nails going on. Now I'm just rambling and being goofy for no reason. As always, thank you so very much for watching. I appreciate you from the very bottom of my heart. Till next time. Bye, guys. If I'm not wearing lip, if I'm not red, oh my god.